In this Clash of Clans video, we are going to teach you the top 3 Town Hall 10 attack strategies. I will be sure to break these down, give you as many tips and tricks so that you can get the 3 stars using these attacks. We will start off at number 3 and move our way up to the best attack strategy at Town Hall 10. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty guys, let's dive straight into this with the 3rd best attack strategy at Town Hall 10, the Drag Bat. Now this is one of my personal favourite attack strategies. You're starting out with the dragons to push in, take out the heart of the base, and in an ideal base design what you are looking for is taking out majority of the splash damage defenses, that is wizard towers and multi-infernos. So the first thing you have to do for your dragons is set up pathing for them, because you want to sweep from one side to the other. So notice how the king and queen down this area aim to narrow the path of the base. They're going to take out all of this in order to push the dragons straight through the base. Now sometimes you can use your king on one side and your queen on the other. It depends what you want to take out. But notice how we have an air defense here as well, which the queen can take down. Anything which is going to be dangerous for your dragons, try and get them down with your queen. Notice the other side of the base, we have the same process happening. We have the P.E.K.K.A taking out all of this, which aims to stop the dragons from moving across there. You're keeping their path through the base itself. We have one wizard here which aims to very sneakily take out this air defense, but it didn't quite work. The slammer will get there anyway. As the dragons move through, again you have one clean sweep from one side of the base through to the other. You will probably use a rage spell to push the dragons through when they are at the biggest amount of danger, especially if you are moving into an air sweeper. Now guys, if you are new to my channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my Clash of Clans videos. As your dragons move through the base, you are then going to merge in your bat spells. Now often you will use a bat bomb method at Town Hall 10 because there won't be too much splash left. You can see we have a multi and a wizard tower here, but after that there is 0 splash. So we will drop all of our bat spells on top of that area in order to take it down. We're actually going to use a rage and a freeze to get the splash damage quickly out of the way, and the bats can spread out from there. Notice the timing of the bats. They were used as the dragons got to that area, so they are both protecting each other. The point defense are shooting at the dragons so the bats can do their work, and the same thing happens. Any point defense that then shoots at the bats, the dragons are protected from. So you need to try and get the timing right in order to help both of the troops. You might have to use the bats to path the dragons. I'll show you an example of that because we will show you 2 attacks of each of the top 3 attack strategies to try and teach you it a little bit better. So pathing of the dragons, push them through, and the bats onto the splash. Let's break that down in one more example before we move to the attack strategy number 2. Another example by Naughty Rabbit of Toxic Rabbits and the clan which is going to feature throughout this video. If you want to join us, be sure to join my Discord server. All of my social media platforms are linked down below. Starting off the 2nd attack then, what is the first and most pivotal thing? Creating pathing for the dragons. So you can see that process has been started. If we draw a line here, we've already thinned out the base with a baby dragon to the left and the king and queen over to the right. Again, queen able to reach some of the point defense that allows our dragons through the base. I want to show you on this one how the bats are used to help push the dragons over towards these two wizard towers. So constantly thinking about pathing of the dragons. You need to control them to where you want and use the bats to clear out the rest. So as the dragons come through, again, we've used one rage spell. You are more than likely wanting to use a rage to help the dragons through. You could use the slammer in order to help with pathing as well. So we could potentially use the slammer on this side to help clear out some of these defenses. That would help push the dragons this way equally. It just depends on the base design where the splash damages are, because you need to avoid the splash damages with your bats, and if you hit them, you've got to have a plan for them. It's basically got to be a freeze spell, as you seen to the top there, for the multi-inferno, or you've got to have them tanked. So as the bats came through, they were actually already tanked. The wizard tower was already tanked by the dragons. You might question how the bats went down. It was actually a red air bomb. The bats will not set off a red air bomb, but if one is already active and it's moving across, it can retarget to the bats. So got a little bit unfortunate there, but again, narrow the pathing of the base, try and maximize the splash damage getting taken out by the dragons, and using the bats to swoop around the rest of the base. That could be a bat wave technique or a bat bomb where you use the bats right on top of the splash damage defenses. Let's move on to attack strategy number 2, and then from there we will move to the best attack strategy at Town Hall 10. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's go through the second best attack strategy. Okay guys, moving to attack strategy number 2. Now I have to say that within the top 3, it's very competitive at Town Hall 10. We could have very easily had witches within this, and I will link at the end of this video an attack strategy video where I break down that. Let me know in the comments what you think your top 3 would be, but I kind of didn't put the witches in. Even though they're powerful, I feel like these other attacks are just not necessarily better, but they offer more to you as a player. This one is the Hog Riders. Now there's a few ways of doing this, but the fundamentals are the same. We used initially a golem and a golem in order to tank, to allow our kill squad into the center of the base. Now what are we taking down with that? We are taking the enemy queen, the enemy king, the enemy clan castle, and a multi-inferno as well. They are the 3 key things that you want down. Well, the king, the queen, the clan castle, and if you can, a multi-inferno, and any other splash defenses basically. Notice how the Hog Riders are then targeting the second multi-inferno as soon as possible. You want to try and create pathing for your Hog Riders. So we've taken out this huge section here whereby the hogs can move around the base very successfully. So that is exactly what you want to try and do. Make that heavy push. If you are looking at base designs for Hog Riders, you want to make a heavy push, carve out part of the base, and you have to be getting the queen, an ideal world the king, the clan castle troops, and most certainly a multi-inferno. 2 multi-infernos are difficult to take down unless you literally have a very small kill squad and you have so many Hog Riders. Other than that, it is very difficult. Use your heal spells over splash damage or high density areas of defenses to help the Hog Riders through, and you have a couple left in this example, showing the importance of getting your cleanup troops in early. As soon as an area of the base has gone down, get wizards in there. The splash or the spring traps, any kind of traps will be gone. The wizards can help. If you have any buildings on the inside, clan castle, king's altar, anything, maybe take a miner or a minion to take that down. Let's move to the next example of the Hog Riders. The second variation of the Hog Riders that I wanted to show you is the Queen Charge into Hog Riders. Now a lot of these attacks can be interchangeable, so you could take a regular kill squad or a Queen Charge. You could then finish the raid off with miners, Hog Riders, LavaLoon, whatever best fitted the base, but the principles here are the same. We're creating a funnel on either side, which we did in the last one with the golems and wizards, to get a kill squad in. In this case, our kill squad being our queen charge. When would you use a queen charge? Well, maybe you can directly get the things you want with the queen, and then she can be protected after that. As long as air defense aren't going to be hitting your healers, as you can see here they wouldn't, sweepers in the center are out of the way, we're pretty good here for a queen charge. So we come into the base, we are getting the things we talked about: the king, the clan castle troops, the queen, and a multi-inferno, before then being able to start the hog riders. Again, we've carved out an area of defenses, being this top section. The good thing about using a queen charge is you can often save your stone slammer, wall wrecker, blimp, whatever siege machine you want to use, and that better helps to take out all of the defenses look in this top area, meaning that hog riders now have a clear path through the base. So where do we start? We're trying to hit the next multi-inferno as soon as possible. So we come in at the defenses around it to clump the hog riders together on top of the multi-inferno. Then they can move around here, and we're using heals wherever there's high density of defenses or splash damages. So a bomb tower and giant bombs go off, mean we have to have a heal in this area, and we don't quite have one for the end here, but sometimes you've got to use the heals when you've got to use them. You can have hog riders with very little health towards the end, doesn't matter, as long as they get them defenses down. Notice this poison spell as well. Sometimes you might want to take 2 poison spells, one for the clan castle troops and one for any skeleton traps that might pop. Hog riders are brilliant at Town Hall 10, but there is a better attack strategy, and they kind of are interchangeable, so I will explain that as we go through the top attack strategy. It depends on you as a player, and it does depend on the base as well, but let's move on to the number 1, the best attack strategy at Town Hall 10. The Queen Charge into LavaLoon is the best attack strategy at Town Hall 10. In my opinion, it serves you very well moving up to Town Hall 11 and 12, and although it is difficult to use, it does work against a huge variety of bases. Like we said, you could use a regular kill squad or a queen charge, and then it depends on the base as to whether a Lalo or hog riders are better. Sometimes it's personal preference. In this attack we charge forward, taking out 2 air defense initially. We have the queen, clan castle troops, and a multi-inferno all going to go down, not to mention the pathing that we will create by taking out this area of the base. From there, it depends on what is left. Notice how the enemy king is at the other side of the base here. For a hog rider attack, he would be left standing and would be battering the hogs, but for a Lalo, it really doesn't matter. He can't do anything. It's then dependent on position of air defense and the position of the sweepers. Can you actually get a Lalo to work? Arguably, both could work in this attack. The queen charge has came in, and like we've said, has taken out them key defenses. For a Lalo attack, the enemy queen is the most important thing. She will take down them balloons super quick, so you've got to try and get her alongside at least one multi-inferno. Exact same principles as the hog riders. You then want to hit the second multi as soon as possible, but with the queen charge you free up the slammer, which merges into your Lalo incredibly well. Although the lava hound left in this one and moved to the top of the base relatively quickly, we still had tankage from that of the slammer. We were still able to easily target the defenses at different areas of the base here and merge together towards the end. That is exactly what you want to do with your Lalo. Come in with the balloons at different angles, enough to one-shot the defenses if possible. So you're trying to put 3 to 4 balloons on the outside defenses to one-shot it and move in over. When they clump, they can then take down down the defenses again very quickly. The initial shot does a huge amount of damage, so you want to maximize that. Ensure that the amount of balloons you deploy take out that defense and they move straight to the next one, and haste spells will help you with that. But let's go ahead and show you another queen charge into LavaLoon in order to break this down in a little bit more depth. I do have a video for it as well. Check out my Town Hall 10 attacks playlist, but let's move to the next attack. So for the queen charge into LavaLoon, a big portion of that attack is your queen charge. That will set up the way for your LavaLoon to just crush the rest of the base. So you have to set up pathing for your queen. We're doing that here with a baby dragon to the left and the king to the right, meaning the queen can move straight into the base itself. Try and use wall breakers for the initial layer, followed by a jump spell, or in this case we can actually just jump right into the compartment in the center of the base, so exactly where we need to go. That means you then have your slammer for the LavaLoon portion. Notice the areas of the base again that we're taking down. We have the enemy queen is the big one. She is going to go down. The clan castle troops, if you can get air defense as well, try and take them down, because that helps with the pathing of your Lalo. It makes it more predictable. If you can get at least one of them down, then you can predict the pathing of your lava hounds easier, and obviously it just depends on the base design. We're also taking out this bottom section of the base basically, so that we can then Lalo around the top. Similar with the Hog Riders, you've got to think about pathing of your balloons. They're defense targeting troops, so you've got to take out an area of the base. As we move forward here, the multi-inferno would have been ideal, but we're not quite going to get it. Leading with the slammer and the lava hound from separate angles here, tanking, followed by all of the balloons behind. Watch, as we said, the balloons move through, bang, they one-shot the archer tower, they move to the cannon, all of a sudden, bang, that defense is down as well. They quickly move through the base here, and that is what you need. Haste spells originally to power them forward once they clump together, and especially over splash damage. You then want to have your main spells. In this case it is a heal spell, but we've actually been able to take out all of the splash damages that once the balloons come out of the slammer, we've got more of them in there with the haste spell to take down that final wizard tower, and that's the main threats of the base. It really is trying to take out the defenses initially and power your balloons over the splash damages once they clump. I really feel like the LavaLoon is the strongest attack strategy when you know how to do it correctly. Again, I did do a video recently, just a couple of days ago, breaking this strategy down in a little bit more depth. Head on over to my Town Hall 10 attacks playlist in order to see that, but I will be sure to link you the witches video, the witches guide that we did, because I feel like that strategy could have easily made it into the top 3 here, but for me didn't quite make it. If you want to watch that though, so you have yet another Town Hall 10 attack strategy that you can use, go ahead and check this one out. It's very easy to use for the 3 stars, but that wraps it up for this one. Until next time, peace out.